Hey, what's up everyone? Eric Rossi, the guy with the eye here. Wanted to have a discussion about what the future of Sony will be, as we found out that there will be an announcement this Sunday, April 23rd. Not sure on the time, 2017. So we'll talk about it in a second. But after the Sony A9 was just announced recently, there was the internet, the photo industry kind of blew up about it because of what it came, what it gave and what was coming from it, even though it was interesting as some of the omissions that Sony left off. We'll talk about that as well. But they introduced a lot of things that customers wanted. And this was like one of the first times that these other three companies, Sony, Nikon, or Canon, actually listened to their customer base. So let's kind of break down what was left off, but what the future is going to hold, because from what we know and what's going around is that on Sunday, it's not going to be a high-end camcorder camera like the FS700 or the FS7 line or anything like that. And I don't think it's going to be some kind of a bridge camera like this RX100 or anything like that, because this is still kind of new. Bridge camera, more or less, fixed lenses and everything. This next camera is gonna have, I think, some of the aspects of this, and if it doesn't, these are definitely gonna trickle down. What's next in the A6700, the A7R and S Mark III, and possibly even the RX100 Mark VI. Now, to get one out of the way, the RX100 Mark V came around last year, around October. It was announced and it was just shipping shortly after, and I owned that for 2 months, and for $1,000, it's decent. The image quality wasn't quite there for me, and I had to get rid of it for other reasons and everything like that. $800 camera would be great, but for what it is, fast autofocusing, the form factor, the ergonomics suck in those cameras. Everyone who owns it really says that. But it's strong for $800, $1,000 or whatever. It shoots very well for it being a 1-inch sensor. It does 4K video. You can overcrank 1080p video. I don't know what else you would really include in something like that besides changing the build up. So I don't know if the RX100 Mark VI is on the way. I don't think that this is the announcement. The other thing we're going to get to is the Sony A6700, which might be a thing. Going back to last year, February of 2016, the A6300 was announced. A month later, about March 10th, I think I bought and received the A6300. I owned that for a few months. And then in October of 2016, this pissed a lot of people off, even me too. The Sony A6500 was announced, and it was also then released. So this is around the time where this stuff happens. So that's why I think it might be something like an A6700, but not necessarily. But if it is an A6700, I don't find a ton of major changes, because the A6500 has a lot of what this newer camera might have. The only thing I might see trickle down from this is maybe a better touchscreen. I think it'll probably be a little bit faster. 11 frames per second, though, for what this is at this price point, isn't that bad. But I do not think that this will be the camera that'll have the 4K at 60 frames per second. I don't think this will be challenging the Panasonic GH5. If they did, would be very blown away by that. So that's already in there. Touchscreen was already there a little bit, and then the 5-axis in-body stabilization. Well, like I was saying, the A9 brought out a couple new things, except that it didn't have S-Log, didn't have 4K at 60 frames a second. It was more of a stills-based camera. Overheating, we don't know if it will be addressed, and it gave also dual SD cards and a new battery. In the 6700, I do not find it having that newer battery because that's an entirely different build. Will it have the dual SD card slots? I don't think so either. It'd be great if you saw something like that in the consumer model, but it kind of seems like they might want to protect that $4,500 camera that they just announced in this A9. So I think there'll be improvements to the EVF and everything like that. So we'll see what goes on from there. But I think the ultimate camera that's coming out is the new A7R or S Mark III. So this is the discussion point. What's going to be included in that? Because interestingly enough, the R for resolution has 42 megapixels. The S has 12. So that's really kind of what you're getting from there. And the S has S-Log 3, and I think the R has S-Log 2. So this will definitely be the video play that they're talking about, and I think that's what it's going to be. I don't think you're going to have some flip-out video screen. If you do, that's going to blow me away. Something matches like the Canon series or the Canon 80D. I think that this will have the 4K at 60 frames a second to go against the Panasonic GH5, except that it's going to be more expensive. These cameras typically run, $2,500, $3,000, $3,200, etc. It's going to be that higher megapixel, I feel. It's going to probably have increased frames per second. I don't think it's going to use the new battery, but I do think it's going to have the touchscreen, dual SD card slots, and then obviously that joystick dial, and probably S-Log 3 or 4. Maybe, you know, you'll get all this at 100 megabits per second, and, you know, kind of go from there. So I think that that's the big announcement, and either A7, A7S, or R Mark III that has a lot of these video features that has to challenge the Panasonic GH5. Because I know a lot of people have the GH5 who are very, besides the autofocusing thing and people overstressing it on YouTube, which it is a deal, don't get me wrong, it is an issue that needs to be corrected, but it's a very strong video camera, and a lot of my friends who have one really enjoy it as well because it's great for the image quality and for the price point. What will be the next new camera from Sony this Sunday? Let's have a discussion below. What do you expect? Do you think it's going to use any of the features from the A9 in something like this? And what do you think the new video play is going to be? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe for more videos. As soon as this breaks, I'll definitely cover it, and I'm sure you're going to see the same coverage from everyone else. But it's always a discussion point, and that's why I like to do them. Eric Rossi, the guy with the eye. Keep an eye out.